A few years ago, my roommate at the time, Josh, bought me a laser engraver for this Ender 3 Pro 3D printer. Started to do my research about how to set it up, and it was kind of sketchy, and I just never got around to it. Thankfully, looking back, we were going to be doing this in our basement with no ventilation, so probably for the best. 4 years later, and Acmer, who actually makes laser engravers that are safe to use, reached out because they liked the videos on the channel and offered one for me to try. So pretty cool moment for the channel. And now that I've grown from my old Ender 3 Pro to 4 Bambu Lab printers with some serious output, I'm even more excited about using a laser engraver in the print garden to see if it's useful for engraving on plastic prints. I think it could be a really useful tool. But before we can get into all that, apparently I need to get a label printer. I think part of the reason it took me so long to get a label printer is because I spent like $200 on this mega tank printer and I didn't want to buy anything else. But I found this Jaden's label thermal printer on Facebook Marketplace. It also came with a big stack of labels, so I think it's a pretty good deal. And yeah, I got a thermal label maker now. The setup was pretty simple. Installed the driver, works on my computer right away, and now I just got to pick a spot to put this. My old printer was beside my computer, but it also was quite large, so I'm kind of hoping I can fit it somewhere in the workshop area. I'm thinking I'm eventually going to mount it under the desk, but I'm not so certain about this desk anymore. I'm having some issues with it, so I might wait to do this permanent location. And I'm just gonna place it here on top of my old printer for now. This is very much not a long-term solution. Kind of wish I bought one of these 1,500 sales ago, but better late than never. And some good news is that Canada Post is open again. So now I only have to go across the street and back. Which brings us to the most commonly asked question from my last 3D print garden video. And yes, I got a haircut. Ventilation and safety. I've been using a lot of common sense and logic in regards to ventilation in this space, but it's time to find out for sure if the air that I'm breathing is safe, so I picked up an AirThings View Plus air quality monitor, and we'll get some data. Supposedly this AirThings monitor can check for PM 2.5 and all the way down to 1 and the TVOC, so that's the stuff I'm really looking for in this monitor. And before we get too far, I know some of you guys are gonna say this thing is not good enough and that there's this super expensive one that's gonna work so much better. I can't afford that, this is what I'm starting with, so this is what we're working with. And to help visualize the ventilation, we're gonna be using a portable smoke machine so that we can figure out exactly where the airflow is going. Quick forewarning, the air quality monitor does not like this stuff, even though it's safe to breathe. And I've got all 4 printers running, so this is a pretty good test. So let's see where this smoke goes. Starting with the upper fan here. It's a little hard to see, but I can see smoke coming out here, a little bit here, and especially down here, and there's definitely a little bit of smoke leaking out the bottom. But for the most part, a lot of the majority of that smoke dissipated. So that's actually pretty encouraging. Okay, so we've got the camera in the ceiling and I'm adding some smoke into one of the inlets. So we're gonna see how long it takes to get there and if it even comes up. So I've added quite a bit of smoke now. So there's definitely some smoke that's going up into the roof. And every time I'm saying smoke, I mean fumes from these 3D printers because it should be acting the same way. I do think it's going to be quite beneficial for me to move the venting to the top up here. I also think to improve the venting, I should probably airtight this cabinet. I built it originally on those metal racks that all the 3D printing farms have. and I'm realizing I maybe should have just custom built something that is designed to have doors, because these are kind of just mounted onto the metal frames very awkwardly. I didn't plan this out, I just kind of started going with it. So there's definitely improvements that could be made. I just don't know if they're worthwhile. I think I'll have to look at the data from the Airthings at the end of the week and continually over the next few months to see if I need to make these improvements. All right, back to the laser engraver. I'm mainly curious about this thing for adding some sort of branding to prints that I sell. I'm just trying to add little pieces of identity to my products because currently there's nothing on them. So this laser engraver is kind of perfect for that because it's really small, it's not going to take up a lot of space, and it's 2.5 watts, which should be plenty enough for plastic. I don't know a lot about laser engravers, so this is a lot of experimentation. So we're just going to jump right in and do some material tests. I got some PLA, some PETG, and some TPU, just kind of whatever was in my printers. But I'm mainly curious about the black PETG CF because this is what I sell most of my products with. All right, we're doing our first test here. So we're starting with the black PETG carbon fiber, and we'll see what comes from that. I got my protective glasses on that came with the kit. Air purifier, good to go. Should probably be extra safe. I've just finished one of the material tests on white PLA and it did absolutely nothing. There's probably a scientific reason why. Blue PLA also did not work. So each of these material tests takes about 15 minutes, and I ran out of time this week, which is one of the difficult parts of trying to make a video every week while having a normal job. But red PETG works, red TPU worked, and gray PLA worked. So that was interesting. If you guys want me to test more plastics with this small laser engraver, let me know in the comments, because I could definitely do a video specifically just testing a whole bunch of different types. But for now, I'm gonna leave it at that and focus on my product. Okay, so this is the first take on an actual product. Kind of jerry-rigged it so that I could lift the laser engraver up, which is one of the perks of having a portable laser engraver, is you can kind of place it in any way you want. So if I am gonna be using this to engrave every single one of these products moving forward, I'd obviously make something designed to just easily slot it in. But this works for a test. So first test, here we go. And that is the first test print done. I've changed a few of the settings, so we're gonna give this a take two. It's kind of hard to read right now, so all right, here we go, take two. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. I think it looks really cool. I could really see myself using this for like a limited product launch where there's 1 of 100 and then I engrave 1 of 100 or like 2 of 10 or something super limited. I could definitely see myself using it for that. I literally just held it with my hands underneath and tried to do it on the side here in a flat spot and on the bottom. And if I'm going to be using it in the future, I'll create a designated spot for it that I can lift it up and down really easily. I'll get much better fume extraction, and I'll get some better glasses for my own safety, because I avoided looking at the actual laser the entire time. So I don't know how good these things are. Don't want to mess around with my eyesight. So those are the changes that I'll make if I am going to be using this thing full time in the future. But overall, I'm impressed. I think I'm definitely about to unlock another hobby of laser engraving. So onwards to the Airthings Plus. So I spent the week watching this thing, and it basically always said that my air was good. I had at least one printer running pretty much throughout the entire week, and I never saw any jump in VOCs or PM1 or 2.5s because of the 3D printing. I saw really big spikes from the smoke machine, and from the laser engraver, of course. And that was definitely the cause of those big spikes in the 1 week graph. But in the 1 day and the week when you can't see those spikes, you'll notice the air quality is good essentially the entire time. And I did not see any correlation between the 3D printers being on and running and the data. I'm gonna try and make a 1 month in my 3D print garden video. So if there's anything you wanna see covered in that one, let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about adding finances, what type of products I'm offering, and a bit more of a deep dive into print on demand or print on supply. Thanks for watching this video. YouTube will recommend one that you should watch, and I'll recommend one you should watch. So if you haven't, check one of those out. And yeah, thanks for watching.